Hey everyone, my name is Darian and I will be graduating from Northwest Technical College this spring and I will be completing my AAS in dental assisting. Upon completion of this program, we do have to do, it's technically a summer course, and we have to do 8 weeks of internships. We have to pick two different dental sites or offices that we would like to intern at, and we request it into our teacher, and she does her best to get us all in where we need to be. And we work just the same hours as the dental assistants, hygienists, dentists, everyone. We are there from 8 to 5. Some offices are closed on Friday, some are open, so depending on where you're at, you may potentially be working 5 days a week or 4 days a week, but you're still typically there from 8 to 5. One thing I am stressing about with these internships is if they are going to be paid or unpaid. Our instructors discussed with us that they should be unpaid, but if we do get paid for them, that it's just something we don't discuss with them. And it's also something that very rarely ever happens, which came to a huge surprise to me because we are there working the exact same hours as them, and they are getting paid, or they're there to work to pay all their bills, pay to live, and we need to be doing the same thing. For me, I will be moving back to my hometown, but my lease is not up in Bemidji until the middle of summer, which is when the internship ends. So while I'm back home interning 5 days a week, working those office hours, I still have all my bills in Bemidji, plus all my bills in Baudette as well. Also, my internships are 45 miles away from where I'll actually be living. So aside from the 8 to 5, it'll more likely be probably like 6:30 because it takes me 45 minutes to get there. And I won't get home until probably 6:30 at night as well, because another expense that I have is childcare. I have two small children that will be in daycare the full time that I'm interning, and if I decide to stay there, they will be there as well too. This is going to be a huge stressful factor because the only other job that I could potentially get income in while I'm interning, if they're unpaid, is working at maybe one of the resorts up in my hometown, which would be a weekend job. So therefore, I would be working 7 days a week with only a 3-day-a-week income, and I would basically never get to see my kids. So, one thing that I'm hoping for is that my internships will be paid, because not only is it rewarding to the intern themselves, it is paying somebody for the work and the money that they're also bringing into your office. We do not have more time after the day closes to go out and work like a 3-hour shift somewhere to make up or compensate for that money that we're kind of losing in between. Working full-time at an internship is way more stressful than being a full-time student, because you actually have no time to go to work, whereas class can end at 3 o'clock and you can work a night shift. Daycare also is not open on the weekends, so I don't have the option to potentially get a weekend job to compensate for all the money that I will be losing. A few other benefits of dental offices paying their internships is that the office will attract more interns. Living in it's a small world, and Minnesota, word travels. You usually always know someone going in or coming out of our program, and if I were to hear about a paid internship somewhere, that would be my number one spot to go, because I would be being recognized for my work. Information that I got from w.mic.edu stated that also students that are paid during their internships have a higher likely chance of landing a job after the fact, and that's 67.7% higher than versus students that are not being recognized for their work at all. It also talked about how the internships will be performing their highest level of education because they're being kind of like rewarded for their work, which not everyone needs to be rewarded for their work. But in the instance of this is the money and the time that I'm kind of losing, where I could be working another job full time to pay my bills, pay for daycare, pay for groceries, Pay to travel back and forth. I'll be traveling 90 miles round trip Monday through Friday, so I also have to pay that in gas just to get to my internships each day. And the marketplace.org also talked about, I found the same study that studies have shown that 67.7% students were more likely to get that job somewhere just because they're being recognized. We're not just doing paperwork and we're not just sitting in sterilization all day. We are assisting that dentist all day long. And the more people in the office, the faster in and out we can get people going, and the more money the dentist is typically bringing in because we're there. Another benefit of that would be, for me, I'm interning at one of the offices that I'm hoping to get a job at, so I might be able to get it paid, but I'm not sure yet. This gives the dentist a chance to see how I perform my duties, how well I work with others, how well I work with patients, and he can see the way that I also work with those patients, because the number one thing in dental is you need to be very compassionate. A lot of people have a very big fear of the dentist, and this way he gets to see how I work. And maybe even after a week of working and he realizes maybe how good I'm doing or how bad I'm doing, then he could maybe make that call on if he wants to pay me or not. And even if minimum wage is what he wants to pay me during my internship, it would still be perfect because I'm having some type of income to get me back and forth to where I'll be, to pay my bills, to pay my groceries, and all those sorts of things. Internships I only looked up in Minnesota. They do not have to be paid, and some sites did say that it can be typically worse for the dentist because we are interns, we are new, we could be wasteful with product. So that's another thing for the dentist to consider when he's deciding if he wants to pay internships or not. They also can choose if they want us at their office, so if our teacher contacts them and they say no, then we can't go there. So one thing the dentist could do is maybe come in on a Friday or something at our school and see how well we do. Overall, I'm not too sure how my internships are going to go paid-wise. I'm praying that we do get them paid because that'll be less stress for me, my family, and that way I'll be able to work most efficiently because I won't be stressing about other crazy things going on in my life at that time.